Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a foresight package in the service niche. Created in January 2011 and 2012, this business makes $3,055 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the site is 40699. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, John.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before we dive into the questions here, just to give everyone out there listening to this either on YouTube or the marketplace listing a quick summary of this business. It was built in 2011 and 2012, as I mentioned, with a monthly revenue of $5,705. Expenses are sitting at $2,650 with a total net profit of $3,055, and that is over a 7-month average. With the sell, the site includes the 4 domains, obviously, the server that includes all source code, website code, the database, emails, and support desk, including with the canned responses to common requests, plus over 80,000 highly targeted people on 4 separate email lists. So with that said, John, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I got started online. I had some offline businesses, and then around 2009, 2010, I made the sort of transition online. But I just dabbled in and played with affiliate sites, affiliate marketing, affiliate sales, all that sort of stuff until we built this very first site, which I believe we spent 9 months building it on evenings, weekends. Like, we didn't code it, but just working with coders over in Eastern Europe and designers, and it was our first site. So we built that and then launched it in March of 2011, and then got kind of lucky, I guess. And the second day of launch, we kind of repaid back all the expenses, and we're kind of like, bing, a little light bulb went off. And it was like, this is kind of cool. So we kind of, I guess you could say, synthesized like 2 years of trying things and learning and like buying courses and taking it all in. And then finally it was just like, okay, let's build something. And so we put all the knowledge we had acquired up till that point into this, and then just tweaked it from there.
That's amazing. Quite the rate of return there on the first day or second day of launching.
Yeah, it was good. That definitely made that light bulb go off. Like, whoa, this works.
I still remember my first affiliate check when I was doing bum marketing on Easy Articles. It's just magic when I got the first $500 check. Like, I can't believe this is happening.
It's amazing. Eh?
It is.
The good old days.
Yeah. How did you come up with the idea to start this? Like, without giving away the niche, was there anything about this that was just really impressed you, or were you into the niche before, or did you do like keyword research and realize this was a good niche to target?
Yeah, good question. So I have a business partner in this, and he actually went to university with a guy. They were both taking business in university, and just at the very beginning of second year, his friend who he was living with too dropped out, because he was like, he had built this website and it was just about a year old. And he was like, I'm making more money than this professor trying to teach me about business is with my business. So I don't need this anymore. And so he ended up living with him for the rest of university while this guy just like lived the high life and ran his business. And then he kept in touch with him. He was good friends, and it was really, really close to this market. And so obviously we spent time like just kind of like figuring it out, like, what is he doing? Like, oh my God. And then from there, we kind of transitioned slightly over from it. We found sort of like a gap in the market that I thought really was there. And I knew 100% that it was like profitable because I literally like had access to his PayPal account. And so we just went for it. And so it was literally just, a good friend of my partner's that I had built a site and it was doing really well. So we found a gap close to it that wasn't being served in the marketplace, and we went for it.
That's awesome. Speaking of the gap, how does this website, or websites rather, make money primarily? Is it like affiliate, or what do you got going on as far as monetization?
It's 100% like memberships. You can buy monthly membership, 3-month, a 6-month, or a 1-year membership. And then you can buy digital credits to have access to using the site more. And those are the two main drivers of traffic. There's a tiny bit of affiliate stuff that comes in, like we recommend some other sites and products, but I honestly couldn't even tell you what we recommend at this point. It's been so long since I've even looked at it, which is sad, but I mean, there's good traffic on the sites and good usage. So, I mean, there's people there if you were to do that, but I just haven't done that. But like 99% of all revenue comes from memberships and then the digital credits. And then not credit, but every single membership that is sold through the site is automatically set up for a recurring basis. And so a large portion of the revenue just comes back on a recurring basis as well.
It's fantastic. It sounds like you already answered this next question, but just for the sake of asking it, could you tell us why you're selling the business? Why not just, let it keep doing its thing and pulling in the money?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I literally hadn't logged into these sites, like into the admin panels of these sites in over a year until I started going through the process of gathering up all the information to sell them. Seriously. And now that it's been that long, I'm almost like reinvigorated in them because I see so much potential in them. I honestly do, that I don't even know if I want to sell them. Sorry to be brutally honest, but like 2 years ago, I started another business and it was supposed to be just on the side, but it kind of spiraled out of control and grew and grew and grew. And I mean, I work 5 and 6 days a week on that right now. I have somebody that runs these 4 sites 100%. And takes care of everything, like literally pays himself out of our PayPal account because we just couldn't be bothered to do it. But it just, I mean, the money just all goes into a bank account, and once a year we look at it and split it, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to say that we built these things. They were kind of our babies. Then I got bored with them. I got bored with living the sort of like beach lifestyle and not having to do much. I wanted to do something else. That new thing really has completely taken over. My business partner himself has a whole nother side business. There's not even a side, it's a main business now. These are the side businesses. And these sites, like they used to do really, really, really well for us. And we've kind of just pushed them to the side and they have just slowly dropped off. And I would kind of really like to see somebody just like take the reins and boost them back up because the potential for them, I know, is huge because we used to do it. And we've just absolutely 100% been sidetracked.
Well, that's a great reason to sell the business, honestly. One of the biggest tips we always give to potential sellers when they ask, when should I sell my site? Well, one of the best times, honestly, to sell is when you simply don't care anymore about it. You are, not making enough time for it. Might as well sell it off and allow someone else to grow it and exit from it while, the potential's still there.
Right. But as like a business person, Greg, it's foolish to be selling it at like a low point. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, I should be like flipping this myself as in like I should be focusing on it for 6 months and like doubling the revenues and then like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm selling it at a foolish time, but it just seems right now to just do it.
It's like a super high end piece of equipment or something going on a fire sale.
Exactly.
What's your plan for after the sale? You already said you're tired of the beach lifestyle, so I'm assuming you're not going to use the money to buy yourself a all-inclusive beach stay at a resort in Thailand, are you?
No. So I have 2 other businesses, man, that take up like all of my time. I'm just going to keep working on those. This is literally going to just to get this off my plate, to free up that sort of brain capacity, to not have to. The biggest trouble we have with these is that we have to do the taxes at the end of the year with our accountants. And that might sound, but I mean, both me and my business partner have moved cities. We don't live near each other anymore. Like all of this stuff is just getting more difficult. And to me, it's great that it's 100% passive or 99.9% passive for me, but it's just not enough of a motivator at this point. So I'll just hopefully hand the site off to somebody who really wants to kick ass with it again and be able to watch it go. That'd be cool. And I'll get some money out of it, but I don't have big plans for the money. No, maybe I'll buy Tesla. I don't know.
Hey, it's a good purchase. Those are nice cars. So moving into the site's histories, you you make it sound like it was pretty successful almost from day one once the sites were actually launched. Could you just kind of share the trajectory of the business those first few weeks and months when you and your partner were actively working on them?
Yeah, for sure. So the market still to this day is not very savvy. And I mean that in the nicest way. But when my partner and I entered it, we were looking at it from the outside and being like, I cannot believe that people are doing this and making money with these sites. Like they look terrible. The funnels don't exist. There's nothing. It shocks me. So we were just like, well, we could do this. So we literally did, and we figured we could just kind of enter, not just fill the gap, but kind of take over the market. And so that first site we launched, we did that, and we both had jobs at the time, so we took no money out, and then we literally just launched the other 3 sites over the next 14 months. We just filled like a social gap in it. We filled like a traffic gap in it. We filled all these different gaps we saw under like our branding. And then as one site got like lots of people in it, then it was like this huger platform to launch. And the next launches just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden we had 4 sites in the marketplace that kind of dominated it. And it wasn't that hard for us. And I mean, all those funnels, all those things that exist, which is very minimal because we built this so long ago and didn't actually know that much, but those all still just exist. And that's what runs the sites and like generates all of the revenue at this point. So really it was an opportunity, man. And we just took it. We didn't spend any of the money except for building another site and building another site and building another site until we found like, okay, now we're going to start. Now it's kind of like you're just kind of stepping on our own toes. But up to this point, the sites work great together. Like they can cross promote. So you get somebody upgrades for $200 a year at one site. It's really likely to get them to upgrade at least another one of our sites for the same amount. And it's just memberships, right? So it's great.
That's awesome. Is there anything you learned from this business? Like it sounded like they were very successful, but just like one lesson that just worked amazingly well that maybe you applied to your current business or you plan on applying something to a future business that you learned from this one?
Having really good one-time offers. So when they literally just sign up for a free site. So these are like basically SaaS products, which I didn't even know what SaaS was when I built them. But now I'm like really into SaaS, like software as a service. That's what these are. But I mean, all of them, you just sign up for free. Like you don't even see that anything costs any money. You sign up for free. And then there's just really good video offers and like showing them how to use it, but then also making this pitch that's literally they can only get right there and then. And that's where like a large portion of the revenue comes from. It's for the 197 offer for the year. And then as soon as they say yes to that, there's an upsell right behind it for $97 worth of digital credits, which makes it a $294 offer. And like 68 or something percent of the people that take the 197 take the upsell. And it's literally like a membership to a digital thing that just sits there, and digital credits, which are, I mean, what are they? They're just a number in their account. And it's $294. So and then those are both set up to recurring 1 year from then.
That's awesome, man. I'm super fascinated by funnels in general. I think they're amazing. It's cool that you're using those kind of upsells. Is there anything you tried with this business that just didn't work, fell flat on its face?
We tried building and we did build it. We built like an education portion of the first site about 6 months into it. So there was like a side part where you'd get like all this just training and stuff. It was all just digital, and then we put that into the upsell. We made that part of the offer and how it was this big thing, and things sold really well. But then we just found out that nobody even cared about that. Nobody even used that. They were literally just wanted the software. And we thought it was like this big, great thing, but it cost a lot of money and time and effort to build. And so at first we were like, oh man, we're going to do this on all the sites. And it's like, found out that nobody wanted it at all. But that's not to say that they didn't want education, because we had it mapped. Actually, we probably still do in Google Docs. We have a full map out. We were going to do a central hub sort of site with training that you'd have to buy separately. And we could funnel everybody from all 4 sites into this main thing, and you could kind of have access to all your accounts if you wanted from there, and then get training, and it would be another $200 or something a year. But then that's when we all just went our separate ways. But we still have that doc. We have the domain. We have everything for it. That's actually, I forgot all about that. But so it was education, like trying to put too much into one site, I think, is like people were there to do this specific, like what the software does. They didn't also need this additional stuff. That should be separate.
Intriguing. So moving into the traffic and earnings with the sites, I'm assuming it's all organic, or are you getting traffic from different kinds of sources, like just direct traffic and social? I'm assuming you're not doing any paid traffic. Could you
We've
break that
never
down?
done paid traffic.
Yeah,
We've never done no, we've never done paid traffic at all. And so there's organic, there's a ton of links just from, I mean, the sites are old, right? So they've been in this niche for a long time, and I'm pretty sure there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links to things. Some of those are affiliate links. So when you get an upgraded account, then you get an automatic affiliate link. We have all the like tools people should use, banners, everything people can do. We push them to promote the sites themselves. That's a big portion of our expenses, is the fact that we pay affiliate commissions on some sales that go through like that. So it just, to us, there was like, everything has to be built. I still, honestly, this is probably actually the thing I learned, to go back to your question, that everything like this should be built with some sort of viral aspect in it. And each of these sites definitely has a viral aspect built into it, meaning that once you get a person to sign up for it, they're really promoted and incentivized to promote it themselves to other people and in other places. And we tell them where and how. And then we offer to either pay them for it if they're an upgraded member, or if they're not an upgraded member, we offer them free quote unquote credits for doing that, which just incentivizes people to, as they come in the door, we get 10 people in today to sign up. 5 of those people will go out and promote for us and drop links and do it for us. And we only have to pay if they make a sale. So
that's great. How stable are the earnings, would you say? I know you mentioned that they were a lot higher before, but are you seeing now, since you've taken a more passive role in the business, that the earnings are staying relatively the same?
yes, earnings have been the same now for 2 years, I'm going to say. It was that third year before this, and then the fourth year before this, that things were really, really good. But since we've been hands off, they've been really, really good. Like just consistent. They have fluctuations sort of throughout the year. Like summer's slow, but I know from my other businesses, like summer's just slow in general. People are kind of off doing other stuff. Right around Christmas, December, they get really good. And then even like the new year, that first quarter is usually really, really good. So yeah, that's how it works.
So how much content is on the site, or on the sites rather? Or is there a bunch of articles, or is it just like kind of a sales letter?
Yeah, it's hardly even a sales letter, actually. There's one of the sites now has a blog, and there was some blogging done a year ago. I think like there's probably 10 sort of articles written, but it was mostly about like a relaunch of one of the sites. Like we add a new feature or something, and then would just like basically promote it, but it never really went anywhere. Otherwise, there's zero content. Like everything's internal inside a membership area. And so, I mean, all the pages are all the sales pages are there. There's credit sales pages, that kind of stuff, accounts, all that sort of stuff has basic content, but otherwise there's no content marketing involved.
Speaking of the membership site, just curious here, is the membership site owned by you guys? You guys created this membership site?
What do you mean by?
As in the actual, you mentioned you had some affiliate links that was mainly going to like membership type stuff. I was just curious if the main membership is something that you guys created yourself.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's all like everything's custom coded, and we've always called it a membership site, but really it is like a SaaS product, right?
Okay,
software as a service. You have to buy a monthly or yearly like membership to be part of it, to be able to use the software, right? To be able to log in and use it. It's just how it works. Like you can use it for free as well, but you have to put up with a lot of nagging and us trying to sell to you. But you can, but you use it, and it's obviously you don't get to use the full features at all, but you see them all, and you get promoted and pushed to upgrade during the process. So
excellent. Yeah, I was just curious if the new buyer would have to, if they want to do buy this product if you had to do ad, or buy this business rather if you had to add content to it. But if it's more of a SaaS, then I guess the answer would be no. There wouldn't be no need to add monthly content to it if they didn't want to. Is that correct?
We've never done it.
Excellent.
But again, I mean, it's not a very savvy market we're competing with, and nobody has done content marketing around it. So I think it's really ripe for the picking if you were up for it, just like almost everything around the site. Like, I mean, retargeting with Facebook ads, like, I don't know why we've never done it. It's because we just don't pay attention and do it on these sites. But I mean, it's just something that we should do. I mean, we have one small offer on 2 of the sites that like a downsell from the original OTO. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, you didn't want all that. How about for $7, you get to try this out for 5 days? And we sell a ton of them. But it's like those people should be retargeted on Facebook to be like, okay, now upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we don't do that.
Sure. Well, I think we're moving right along into the next section here, talking about opportunities. Let's pretend that you're not going to sell the business and you wanted to grow. What would be the least risky path that you would take to grow the business?
Interesting. My business partner and I actually got on a Google Doc last night and did this. Not for this even. I wasn't even thinking about this. But we're just like, if they don't sell or if we don't want to, then what should we do? And so the least risky path right now would be the retargeting that I just set, which is the $7 offer, and the cart abandonment, which we follow basically general like percentages of cart abandonment around the web, which is high. People go to the cart like they want to, and then they just don't, right? So we should be retargeting those people. And then in our sort of like heyday, we were really active with joint ventures. So other people in the market, other people around the market, just to reach out to them. I mean, they're all on my Skype kind of thing. I just don't talk to them anymore. But when we were constantly, we would just do like little relaunches of the sites, like cycle them through. You got 4 sites, right? I mean, every 3 months, basically, you can do one of the sites, and once a year, each site gets an upgrade, like just a tiny little thing, or just tweak the design a little bit. And it's a great reason for everybody to do a big promotion. And it just keeps revenue super, super high. Like, I mean, when I say revenue used to be high, I mean, it was like 5 and 6 times what it is now consistently per month. It's just how it was. So to me, that would be by far it. That's the first thing on my list for traffic ideas. And then besides that, I would build some actual like email funnels, because all I have is a really basic sort of onboarding funnel and like pushing to upgrade, that sort of thing, and then to buy some like credits. But I would get way more into marketing automation, which didn't really exist at the time.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But now there's such cheap tools that you can buy, and like you can tag people by what they've done. And there's a ton, like people, like hundreds of people a day log into these sites and do stuff. It's like we could be tagging them what they're doing and like remarketing back to them. We have their email addresses. It's just neglected. It really, really is in that sense. So definitely I would do the JV. I would retarget those purchases and cart abandonment people. And then I would completely overhaul the email marketing automation.
Now, as far as you might have already answered this in some regards, but let's say you were incredibly risky with this business. You just wanted to grow it as insanely fast as possible. What would be your strategy?
I would go aggressive on paid traffic to like a content upgrade, a simple content upgrade about the topic, which is super popular, and then into a webinar, which then sells a more expensive version of the $297 or the $294 product, because the $294 is quite easy to sell. And so I think we should be starting higher with sort of a webinar teaching people about the topic. And then as you make that sort of like twist at near the end of your webinar, it's like, I've taught you all this stuff, but now how do you do it? You need, here it is. So I would really, really, really do that. I would honestly treat it like a real SaaS product, which again didn't exist when I built these. But I know the potential for those kind of things is massive right now. And if I had the time, I would probably put the effort in to do it. But I know that the potential is massive, and it would just take spending some of the revenue right now on Facebook and setting up a webinar and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like a great strategy. There's nothing, the typical SaaS chart, with the hockey stick growth. I think there's probably nothing cooler than that chart.
Exactly.
For those out there listening, know what we're talking about.
Exactly. But I mean, even just targeting people, like with Facebook pixels and the amount of traffic that some of these sites get, I mean, you could get a really good market and do like a similar market, or what's that, the copycat market or something it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
You could be driving a lot of traffic. I mean, the numbers are there, what the conversion rate is just on the OTO itself, and then what the upsell is. So that's $294. You can really clearly figure out your ROI, how much you can spend on Facebook. To me, it wouldn't take you very long to be at least doubling or tripling your money on Facebook spend, and then just spend more. Because it's a huge market.
Scale.
It's not a tiny little niche at all. It's a big market. So you could definitely scale.
What do you think the biggest risk is to these kind of sites that the buyer should be aware of?
I think the biggest risk would be maybe getting rid of the contractor we have running it too soon. So that hasn't even been mentioned, but so the third site that we actually built, we didn't build it we did build it from scratch, but it was actually after the second site, and then we didn't want to run customer support and all that. So I found a site that was super underperforming in the market, and I made an offer to the guy to buy his site and he would work for us. And then, so we bought his site and we completely rebuilt it from scratch, relaunched it, and now he runs all 4 sites. He's from the States. He's I guess one of our biggest expenses. We pay him $1,000 a month, and he is the guy that runs literally everything. So yes, you could save $1,000 a month right away and not keep him, but he'd probably love to stay. And he literally runs everything. He
awesome.
knows how to do everything. He doesn't know. He's not really good at sales and marketing. That's why his site wasn't doing well before we bought it. So that's up to you, or to you to hire somebody on Upwork who's good at that stuff. But that would be my thing, is if you just because we've thought about it. It's like, oh, we could, but it's like, man, these things would be dead without him, because we literally, like I said, I hadn't logged in a year because I don't even pay him. He pays himself out of our account. He's super trustworthy, and he just knows. Yeah. Plus, he knows way better than I did. He was the guy that introduced me to all the JVs, and he's in the market. People know him, they like him, so he's your in. So I would definitely think about keeping him on. Otherwise, that would be your biggest risk right there.
Yeah, I'd say, finding a good operations person is amazing. It's like as close as you can get to the mythical super VA, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, 4 years he's been working for us now.
That's awesome.
I could email that guy 2 a.m, 7 a.m, 4 p.m, and he responds like immediately on Skype and everything. He loves it.
That's great. Can you so when you and your partner were more active in the business, I know you guys aren't doing much now, but can you describe what kind of work you are doing to maintain and grow the site?
Yeah, we were constantly doing email campaigns once a week, like just promoting something, usually one of the other sites to one of the other sites. And we were changing. So since it's all built ourselves and we're not like Cody kind of guys, we have it so that you can easily in the back end, we built it so that you can change the one-time offers. You can change the one-time offer for people who sign up. You can change the one-time offer for unupgraded people who are logging in and upgraded people who are logging in. So you can show them all different stuff. And then you can change like offers on like the credits for sale page. And then there's also, when you log out of the site, there's a place just in admin panel where you can set up to direct them to any page you want. So we usually do affiliate stuff there is what we would do. But really those things should be changed once a week, if not more, and use scarcity and just make good offers to people. Like people who have been a free member for 3 months and are still using the site a lot, they're probably not just going to take your $294 offer anymore. But we've had amazing luck, like offer them a $147 offer or a $97 offer with like real scarcity on, like ending this Friday and make it a promotion around whatever's happening, Thanksgiving or Christmas. We used to do like just thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in promotions doing that.
That's awesome.
Like we did. It was exciting. It was fun. And they were just real sites like this. It was that, man. That's the stuff that the contractor can't do well. I mean, he can change ones because all our old ones are in there and he can just sort of switch them around, but they're not new. They're not targeted. They're not like exciting anymore.
Right.
So that's really what we did. We're not coders. We didn't have to do like any traffic generation. We didn't have to do any coding. We didn't have to do any content writing. It was literally just focusing on making better offers.
So for a buyer coming into this who's not familiar with the niche, what skills or requirements would you suggest that they should be aware of to buy this business and hopefully grow it?
It's a good question. I guess being able to, it's business, right? So you have to be able to go with the flow and like be willing to learn some things, be willing to test offers that might not work and ones that might work. But really, I mean, you should probably just hang out on the sites for a month or two. I mean, they're consistently generating the revenue that's coming. It's just, that's it. You know, that's there. So just don't break it at this point. Don't delete the servers, I guess. But there's so little to it for us, right? Like if you keep the contractor, he really just runs everything. You talk to him and he'll tell you everything about the sites. He'll tell you how they work. He'll tell you what to do. And the admin panels that you log into in the back for my partner and I they're like stupid simple because we're both kind of stupid people. And we're just not technical. Like everything's literally just clearly labeled like, want to do a new offer? Here, click this button. What kind of offer? It's down the side. Like it's right there. The emails are written from there. So yeah, man, I don't know. I honestly don't know like what I've been a part of them for so long. Any friend that doesn't know anything about business or marketing and I've showed like the back, they're just like can go and send an email or they could change an offer. They're just like, oh yeah, totally, this is cool. And then they like freak out when people actually like send money because of the offer. They're like, wow, that's pretty cool that you have this. So I don't know, man.
This magic button, push button.
Yeah. I mean, obviously if you feel confident in like your email marketing skills and stuff, like, hey, I would think you could kill it with this. There's a lot of users and that's been neglected. If you know Facebook or know people who do it, then by all means, it's never been done. And it's just ripe for the picking. I honestly believe that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I would think just some sort of sales or marketing, or else the ability and the wherewithal to know you're not that good at that and just outsource it to people on Upwork and people who are smarter than you. That's what we always do. That's where we find all of our developers, not the developers that built it. We actually made a deal with them and worked with them for 2 years solid. But ever since then, it's all been like finding good contractors on Upwork.
Now, do you have, speaking of developers, do you have a list of developers that a new buyer could outreach to that are already familiar with this and say if they want to do some kind of update or expansion, is there people they can already reach out to?
Yeah, there's one guy we've worked with recently, but just short term, but he was really good. And then actually we had for just over 2 years up until last summer, so the summer before this one, we actually had a guy for 2 years out of Vietnam that we paid. He was full time.
Wow.
We paid him but there's just, we weren't doing anything. And so he wasn't doing anything and he just literally stayed on payroll. It was just how it worked. And then there just wasn't enough. We kind of did like redevelopments, relaunches of the sites at that point, and then that was it. So he would probably be available. He definitely knows the sites, but it's really the basic LAMP sort of stack, right? So it's like your Linux, your all that, you know what I mean? PHP.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other ones stand for, but anytime we've let a contractor in, they're just like, oh, wow, yeah, totally, I get this. Like it all makes sense. It's all apparently coded well. So.
I guess it would be somewhat basic for a developer nowadays, considering it was, made 4 or 5 years ago with how programming evolves so quickly.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy in that sense. They're just solid, sturdy sites that just keep chugging along.
That's awesome. Moving into some of the wrap-up questions here, I don't think this would be a problem for you based off this interview, but would you be willing to commit to a non-compete to let a buyer know, like, hey, look, I'm not just going to go and create these 4 sites in the same niche right after you buy this from me?
Yeah.
And how much support would you be willing to offer buyers?
I would be willing to offer like 30 days email support and probably 2 like 1 hour long phone calls. So probably about 5 hours of email support, and then also help you obviously with the provisioning and stuff, moving the hosting and stuff, transferring the whole thing over, helping you make the changes with PayPal and stuff. Again, our contractor would be great for that. He would probably be doing most of it for me and I could be paying him at that point. But yeah, otherwise it would just be email and a couple phone calls, anything you had trouble with or just wanted to know. If you want then access to this Google Doc of what my partner and I are going to do in the next 6 months if we don't get the offer that we want to double revenue, then that's you could have that too, because it won't be of any use to us at this point or at that point. But
Right.
yeah, man, it's like they were completely built by ourselves. So you get the full checklist and be able to handle the entire transition. I mean, the way they're built, the servers they're on could all just be taken over by you. They were built really to be easily transferred. So
Excellent. Now, obviously, the best case scenario for you and for Empire Flippers is for the buyer to come in and just buy it outright for full sales price. But would you at all be open to earnout, say like they did 70% upfront and 30% after that month of training, something along those lines? Would you be open to that?
oh, okay. So you mean 70% now and 30% in a month?
Yeah, or meeting certain other goals, something along those lines.
Something like that, I would probably be open to discussing. I wouldn't be going like 3 months or a year or anything like that, because it's literally 100% passive for me. I already have an earnout from it. Like, I mean, I know how much money I get to cash out every year from not having to do anything. So it wouldn't make sense for me to like do that and be also losing the asset. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But if it was as sort of part of the transition process, yeah, of course, man, we're flexible and we'd like to see the people succeed with it. So for sure.
Awesome. That's good. Before I move into my final question, the hot seat question here, I'll just do a quick summary again of the business for those out there listening. These sites were built in 2011 and 2012. They have a monthly revenue of $5,705 with expenses sitting at $2,650 for a total net profit of $3,055. Now that is over a 7-month average. And with the sale of this business, obviously the 4 domains will be included along with the server that has all the source code, website code, the database, and emails, along with the support desk that has the already written canned responses to the common requests. Plus, in addition to that, the new owner will receive the 80,000 highly targeted people on their 4 separate email lists. So, John, my final question for you is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Somebody should purchase this if they want a solid revenue generating business that isn't based on anything fly by night or that's something that can kind of disappear. I mean, since 2011, this is like old school for the internet at this point, and they're still doing their thing. They've been 100% hands off by the owners for the last fully a year and mostly for 2 years, still generating solid revenue. There's huge potential for upside because I've lived it and earned it. I just too busy doing too many other things at this point. And yeah, it's nothing. None of this stuff is flash in the pan. This is all based on, but also at the same time, it's based on old code. It's also based on old marketing, meaning that I haven't really gone in and changed or updated anything with what I know now about automation and all that. None of that stuff's been put in and implemented. So to me, it's ripe for the picking.
That's excellent. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for sure with this site, especially as you mentioned with updated marketing strategies. I mean, so much just in email marketing has changed since just those years ago. So
yeah,
it's definitely very exciting for someone who's getting, an email list in the tens of thousands.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because when you say the domains are even included, which obviously they are, but the 4th site we built of this package, we actually bought that domain for $1,200.
That's awesome.
We wanted it so bad and it fit so well, and we're just like, yeah, sure, $1,200, whatever, let's do it. But now it's like, man, why did I spend $1,200 on a domain? But I mean, it's only increased in value, I guess, since then. But the site's worth way more.
Right.
Stuck with it.
Yeah. So for those out there watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below this video and it will take you to our marketplace listing. Now, if you're watching this on our actual listing page and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So John, thanks again, man, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine, Greg. Thanks.